When you put all of these things together, you've got all of this information now. So you understand what your video is going to do. You understand what sort of message you're trying to get across. You understand all of the key elements of your product. You really understand your product. You've got the features, the advantages, the benefits. So you now have a massive information, and you now need to start crafting it into your script. And regardless of the type of script that you're doing, so whether it's the simple few bullet points coming up on the screen or whether it's a full-blown narrated script, there is a framework that I'm going to introduce you to tonight that will allow you to pull everything together and put some structure into your script. So this particular method, it takes you through 4 steps, and you may have come across this before. You start by getting the attention of the viewer. After you've got their attention, you look to build interest. You then turn that interest into desire, and you then give them a call to action. And I've highlighted the first letters there. This is commonly known as the AIDA method. As I say, you may have heard of that before. And a lot of people think it's only applicable to typical sales letters and typical marketing and advertising copy. But I can tell you it's just as applicable, if not more so, to video. Because with video, you are looking to really grab somebody's attention and then ultimately turn that through to an action at the end of the video. So let's break this down a bit further. The first step is getting the attention. And there's really 2 elements that we're looking at here, depending on how you're actually distributing your video. So the first is, especially on somewhere like YouTube, the title or the headline of the video. So if somebody's done a search and your video has been returned in the results, your headline or your title of your video needs to be compelling enough or attention-getting enough that somebody's going to click it and actually start to watch your video. Which leads you in then to the first paragraph. Now, studies have shown that you have, on average, somewhere between 8 to 15 seconds to get somebody's attention in a video. And if you don't, they'll click away. Okay? 8 to 15 seconds. So that first paragraph is absolutely key. You need to get straight in there. You don't want to be starting off with, "Hi, my name's John Landells, and I like to create videos. And one of the things that I want to tell you about creating video," bang, they've gone. Okay? You might be giving away the best secret in the world. You might be giving it away for free. It might make them $1 million overnight. But if you don't get their attention in that 8 to 15 second window, they're not going to carry on. Another technique you can use though here is if you have some sort of fancy effect, something that's happening on the screen that's creating interest, you might buy yourself maybe another 8 seconds. So a lot of my videos, particularly the ones on YouTube, I've got a little 10-second intro that plays. And there's just lots of things spinning around on the screen, and there's big music coming up, and it just sort of pulls people in, and they're like, "What?" And by the time they've realized, oh, it's just an intro, bang, we're into the video, and we're into that first paragraph, and me giving them the reason why they should stay, okay, getting their attention. And very often, if you're doing any sort of research into marketing or advertising, you probably hear this also referred to as the hook. Okay, so what is the hook that you're working with? What's the marketing hook? What are you using to really get people interested in what you're talking about? So I've got an example here. And I'm not saying this is a real example. I was just trying to come up with some copy that would give you an example of how you can get somebody's attention. So assume we're doing a video here on weight loss. In this video, you'll discover the secret to losing weight without counting calories or killing yourself in the gym that I discovered whilst crossing the Sahara Desert. Okay, so there's a few things here. In this video, you'll discover, okay, right at the beginning, in this video, you'll discover. You're getting their attention, you're telling them what's in it for them. You're going to discover something. And then I'm going on, you'll discover the secret. Okay? That word secret is really important here. Okay? Discover the secret. That's really, really important because people want to know secrets. And they're discovering a secret. It's not you'll hear about, it's you'll discover the secret. There's something mysterious about it. Okay? They're just words, but they come across as really mysterious and interesting. So in this video, you'll discover the secret to losing weight without counting calories or killing yourself in the gym. Okay? Again, I'm going back and I'm saying, okay, why is my product different? Well, my product isn't about counting calories, which a lot of people who are losing weight, they hate counting calories. Okay? So I've come in here and I'm saying without counting calories. And the other thing that people hate about losing weight is having to go to the gym twice a day, 7 days a week, and work for 4 hours each time. You can tell I don't go to the gym. So the next thing in here is killing yourself in the gym. So I'm already, just in the attention phase, I'm already playing to benefits. But then I'm adding a little bit of mystery. Okay? I'm saying that I discovered whilst crossing the Sahara Desert. Like I said, I've never been to Africa, never mind crossing the Sahara Desert. But if you can put some sort of quirk in there like that, so it might be that I discovered whilst rock climbing with my best friend, or that I discovered whilst diving a coral reef. Okay, it's something a little bit quirky that people go, what? So you got their attention anyway because you're playing to their benefits. And you're saying, okay, in this video, you're telling them straight away, what's the benefit? You'll discover the secret of losing weight. Great benefit. Benefit number 1. Without counting calories. Benefit number 2. Or killing yourself in the gym. Benefit number 3. You're getting their attention already. Then you say that you discovered it whilst crossing the Sahara Desert. You've now gone from getting their attention to getting them really curious. So that allows you then to move on into building the interest. So what you need to do now is you need to take that hook that you use to generate the attention, and you need to turn it around into real interest. Okay? So you're drawing that curiosity out further and further and further. So this is a great opportunity to use stories. So, for example, if I was using that same opening, in the story I might tell how I came to be crossing the Sahara Desert, and tell the story of how you got to that point that you really had that breakthrough. And stories are great. And personally, I'm of the opinion that stories should definitely be true. There should at least be a very strong element of truth in there. For a number of reasons. I mean, the first one being that if it's not true, it's hard to put it across. Unless you're a professional actor, it's hard to put it across as true. But secondly, you see a lot of these launches and you see a lot of these stories coming out, and you just know that it's marketing. You know it's all hype. And I think it damages the credibility of the product. So the other thing that you can do to build interest is, again, you can use this suspense. So it might be that, you know, I'm sure you're dying to know what I was doing in the Sahara Desert. I'll come back to that later. So you can imagine they've heard this. They've heard this amazing hook, and they're thinking, you did what? You learned how to lose weight whilst crossing the Sahara Desert? Well, what was it? You couldn't find food? You were dying out there? What was it? Tell me. So you start to tell the story, and you say, actually, I'll come back to that later. They're going to be shaking them on it to say, just tell me. But all the time, whilst you're building the interest, you've just got to keep in mind, what's in it for me? Because that's what the person watching is really interested in. Okay, you might have a great story, but if there's no obvious payoff for the viewer, that interest is going to die very, very quickly. And you don't want that. You want to actually build the interest. Okay? So you've got their attention. Now, you can get someone's attention by honking a horn at them. You get their attention, but they'll probably look at you and go, oh yeah, clown. You can get their attention by pointing a loaded gun at them, but there's nothing in it for them. Definitely nothing in it for them in that situation. So you need to be really drawing this out here. You need to be building the interest, telling them what's in it for them. And this then leads on to the desire. Okay, so you really want people to need your product. They now know what's in it for them. They've heard the story. They know now how amazing it really is. And they probably want it already. But it's too early for you to be 100% sure. So now you need to start building that desire. So you need to start playing on people's emotions. So we're talking about this weight loss product. We've told the story. We've got them really interested. They know now that this product works. But now you want to, before you tell them what to do, how to get it, you want to start building the emotions up. So imagine being able to go on holiday and wear a swimsuit on the beach without having to cover up with a big baggy t-shirt. Okay? Play on their emotions and really get them to understand why they would really want to look at your product. But keep turning it back on them. Keep using their emotions to build this desire. And I'm not saying to be all sort of false and controlling with this, but what I'm saying is, assuming that your product genuinely fulfills a need for somebody, then try to help them to overcome their own skepticism and use their emotions to do that. This is another opportunity to really go into the benefits. So really sell those benefits. Take the benefits that have jumped out to you when you've done your initial analysis and pound them. Okay? Go into them in a lot of detail. Talk about why it's a benefit. Talk about what that means to them. Immediately keep linking it back to those emotions. Okay? And if you've got the opportunity, use social proof. If you've got testimonials, or you can get testimonials, get them in your video. If you get people who are willing to go on camera, fantastic. I mean, a weight loss product is great for that. If you can do a before and after picture of somebody who's used your product and has lost, I don't know, 100 pounds in 3 days. I'm guessing that's not very realistic, but you know what I mean. They've lost a massive amount of weight. They're looking great. If you can get a before and after picture, or even get them on video now saying, wow, this is amazing. Here's a picture of me how I used to be. But look at me now. And it's all thanks to this product. And it might be that you've got this because the product's been around for a while and you're only just looking to make this video. It might be that it's a brand new product. If it's a brand new product, give it to somebody. Say, look, try this. Just created it. I really, really want to get some good examples of other people having success with it. Please try it. I'll work with you and help you try it. Okay? Don't make it up. If you go to websites like Fiverr, there are people that will give you testimonials for $5. Do not use it. If people like the FTC in America find out that you've paid someone for that testimonial, they'll shut you down. Exactly the same with the Advertising Standards Authority in the UK. And I'm guessing it's the same for most countries around the world. If it's not real, verifiable social proof, don't use it. You'll even see a lot of sales videos these days. I've noticed a real trend for people saying, you know, I would love to show you some proof here. I would love to, but I have to talk about typical results. Given that this is a brand new product, the typical result is zero. Nobody's used it. Nobody has made any money with this product. That's what the typical result is. And they're almost using like a reverse social proof to build their own credibility and show that they're honest. I'm not entirely convinced that that's going to work for very long. I think it's one of these things that's a bit of a fad at the moment. So I think if you can get some genuine testimonials and include them, you'll really, really build that desire. So finally, we move on to the action phase. This is the call to action. It's what the rest of the video has been leading up to, and it's what delivers the outcome that you're anticipating as the marketer. And if you've done the rest of the stages really well, so you've got their attention, you've built the interest, and you really, really hammered home the desire portion of your script, this should be easy, and you should be able to predict what how many people are going to take this outcome. Okay, because at this point you're saying, you know, all you need to do to find out more is to click this link or put your name and email address in. And depending how well you've done the 3 previous steps will determine what percentage of people take that action. A couple of key points about this though. You need to be really specific. Okay? If you want them to go to a website and put in their name and email address, tell them, go to this URL, click the link below, it will take you to. Show a little video of it embedded. Show somebody typing in the name and email address. Okay, be very, very specific. Don't just say, yeah, there's a link somewhere, go click it. Say, there is a link down below, put arrows on the screen, there's a link down below, right down here, this is what the link looks like. Click this link. Be really, really specific. Don't give anyone any room for doubt, because if they've got any doubt, they will click, but the click will be back or close. And also be repetitive. So I like to, when I get to my call to action, I like to say all you need to do to get this product is to, I don't know, click the add to cart button now. The add to cart button will be appearing below. I have lots of arrows, I have a picture of the add to cart button. And then I'll maybe go and I'll leave the picture of the button up there, and I'll leave the click the add to cart button call to action up there. But I'll then maybe go back and I'll start restating some of the benefits. So just saying, you know, this is why you should take action. And then at the end of it, I keep repeating. So remember, all you have to do is click the add to cart button that's below this video right now. So click it now and I'll see you on the inside. Okay? You're repeating it, you're repeating it, you're repeating it. If you have to spell it out, spell it out. That's very often if you're using a URL. So you'll put the URL up on the screen, and it might be, for example, I very often will put up my blog address, www.johnlandells.com. Now, if my business really depended on that particular URL being typed in, as well as having it on the screen, as well as me reading it out, I might be tempted to actually spell it out and say, okay, go to www.johnlandells.com. That's www.johnlandells.com, and then claim your free gift, whatever it is. Okay? So if you feel you need to spell it out, and then repeat it again. But keep being specific, keep being repetitive. You probably don't need to spell it out more than once or twice, particularly if you're showing it on the screen, and particularly if you've got a link available. But if not, spell it. Once you've done all of this, we get on to the interesting bit, the writing your script. Okay? So you understand your outcome. You've answered the know your product questions. You've collected the list of product features. You've converted the features to advantages and benefits. Now you write your script. Okay, so this is the sequence from start to finish.